It's time now for Carter's Corner. Everything Bay Area sports on the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network. Here is your host, Carter Kim.
$11-0? I mean, I said we'd win yesterday, but I didn't figure 11-0? Really? I'll take it. Hey, guys, welcome to Carter's Corner here on Northern Lights Entertainment. I am Carter Kim, here to talk with you about all things Bay Area sports, from baseball to basketball to football. How the hell did we score 11 runs? I said this. I thought we were going to win because I knew Logan was on the bump. I just didn't think we were going to best Brandon Pfaadt, who had been very good recently. But, well, we did. I'll take it, guys. I will take it. I will take it and run. We got it, y'all. This is great, man. I'll take it. Hey, we're really taking this spoiler thing seriously, aren't we? Because we are a lot of teams are having a horrible time with us. They are having a really bad time. They're probably ticked off right now, especially the Royals and the Diamondbacks. They're like, we're fighting for our playoff lives right now, and we're screwing up against the Giants. That says more about them than it does about us as a team, though. So I'm not going to speak much and say, oh, yeah, we're a better team than the Royals. We're a better team than them. No, we're not. Listen, on Giant Sports Talk Live last night, Glenn and Eric were definitely trolling me and saying, oh, you said the Diamondbacks were going to make the World Series. I stand by that, okay? I stand by that. Still 100%. I think that team is still good. I don't think just because they had a couple one-off days, especially against us, that suddenly that good team has just disappeared into wherever. They also didn't have Ketel Marte playing yesterday, so it's just kind of bad luck on their part. But oh wait, no, they actually did have Marte playing yesterday, and Logan Webb owned him, so that's cool. But yeah. Padres are better. I definitely, as of right now, yes. As of right now, the Padres are better. I think that the Padres, they have the structure to do it. I think they have less holes in the pitching staff, and they've shown that their bullpen can really hold up in the postseason. It's really just about trying to figure this out for the Diamondbacks. I still believe in them, though. They are facing the Brewers, who they beat last year, so I think it's possible. But as of right now, you're right. The Padres are better. But yeah, we have breaking news. The lineup card has just been submitted for the game, actually. I'm going to get it out for us. I'm going to read off the names. We obviously have Mason Black starting against Zach Gallen. That's going to be difficult because Zach Gallen twirled an ace of a performance when we were last against him. But the lineup is Mike Yastrzemski, Elliot Ramos, Lamont Wade Jr., Matt Chapman, Michael Conforto, Patrick Bailey, Tyler Fitzgerald, Grant McCray, and Brett Wisely. Up against Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Jock Peterson, Christian Walker, Gurriel. Hi, Fossey. How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you here, man. And then Christian Walker, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., McCarthy, Suarez, and Eugenio Suarez, Gabriel Moreno, and Geraldo Perdomo. So we have we're going up against again. I still believe that the Diamondbacks are a really, really good team. Yeah, and yes, Jock Peterson. That's a pretty damn funny one. I still believe that team's good. I don't think they just suddenly disappeared out of nowhere. I think they're still good. They just have to keep figuring it out. Again, we have been on a bit of a spoiler tear recently. I think they're going to win their next 2 games. So I'm willing to bet that they bounce back from this. This was just a one-off thing, and I think that they'll do better in the next couple days. I still think we're going to beat them tonight, considering how badly we've beaten them already. So I think we're in good hands there, but I think everything's okay for the Diamondbacks. I just think that they're going through a bit of a rough patch. Again, you don't want to be having this rough patch at the very end of the season, but let's look who they're facing next. They're facing, after the Giants, they are facing the – oh, wow. They're facing the Padres, actually. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a massive problem. Yeah, they're really fighting for it right now. So, okay, listen, they're going to be desperate for the next like 3 or 4 days. So they can't lose basically. Got the day off and got the notification for Carter's Corner going live. So, of course, I had to join. Thanks, Fozzie. Always nice to have you and the rest of the community here to talk about the game and talk about what's going on. Thanks for coming, man. I really, really much appreciate it. But yeah. Yeah, let's just look it over because I kind of want to talk about what happened last night. Mike Yastrzemski gets 1 hit, 1 run scored. Elliot Ramos has 4 hits, a home run, an RBI, and 2 runs scored. Lamont Wade Jr. 1 for 3 with a run scored and 2 walks. Very Lamont Wade Jr. stat. Matt Chapman decided to not join the party today like he did a couple days ago, so that's a little surprising. Casey Schmidt comes in, gets an RBI. Michael Conforto has a home run somehow. Again, I don't know how this guy's just trying to burn himself out to make sure that he can get paid on his next contract, I think. But yeah, he's been good. Patrick Bailey. Hey, I am a firm believer in Patrick Bailey. I really do think he's good. And he played very well yesterday. 2 hits, 1 home run, a walk, 3 runs scored on 4 of his at-bats, or maybe one of them goes on the walk. I don't know. And Tyler Fitzgerald hits another home run. It's good to see him back hitting home runs. Grant McCray got a hit. So did Brett Wisely getting a home run. Logan Webb has only 3 Ks, 4 hits, and goes 6 innings. Hey, I've come to expect numbers like this from Logan. He's not swinging this guy, so it's fine. Hey, Eric, how you doing? Or Eric or Glenn. I'm not sure who's controlling the Sports Talk Live account right now, but hi, guys. But yeah, it's been an eventful few days for the Giants because I really did not expect us to do this well. I said at the beginning of the month with Eric and Glenn, I expected us to lose. Only expected us to win 4 games. But we're doing very well. I'm very surprised at us. We are playing chippily good. And yeah, Conforto is playing among us and going to rob whatever team signs him next year. Probably, yeah. I mean, I'm willing to bet that whatever team actually does plan on signing him, it's probably going to be some pretty decent contract. I'm not going to say it's anything too special. It's not like he's being paid hundreds of millions of dollars, but he's probably going to get a good contract. And thinking about it, I really wish, I am serious about this. During the trade deadline, I wish we had sent him to the Mets because the Mets were willing to pay for him. And who knows what we could have gotten in return, but it's too late now. I mean, he has been playing well. Don't get me wrong. And he is a good player, and we needed to play him so that he could get his numbers to a point where the mid-tier free agents would see, oh, yeah, they're an organization that's kind to guys that are going out the door. But, yeah. He's definitely going to be going to get paid this offseason just for something, just as a bench bat or just a guy who can play corner outfield. We'll see how that goes, but I hope we don't bring him back because as good as he's been playing, I don't want him to come back. It's not like he's Kyle Schwarber. The thing is, if he was like Kyle Schwarber in that spot, I mean, if his on-base percentage was good and he had good slugging, but his average was kind of blah, I would say, okay, sure, why not? But he's not like that. So, then again, no one's really like Kyle Schwarber. That guy is something else. But anyway, I think I kind of want to preview tonight and what's going to happen. The San Francisco Giants will take on the Diamondbacks with Mason Black going up against Zach Gallen. And the last time I saw Zach Gallen, he was playing at a game that I went to at Oracle Park, and he absolutely crushed us. He didn't allow a single hit, but he walked in a run. So he technically had a no-hitter going. He had played very well. He's a great player. There's only one day that I don't even think he actually walked in a run. That might have been a mistake, but he played super well. I honestly think it's going to be a tough sell to get after him, but I think he's a great player. And he's the reason why the Diamondbacks are going to try and go far in the postseason because guys like him, their rotation are genuinely good. But then again, we said the same thing about I said the same thing about Eduardo Rodriguez and Brandon Pfaadt. So maybe we can have a good day against Gallen too. But yeah, I actually kind of get some whip around the league and look around. As of right now, gents, people of baseball at this channel, the Kansas City Royals, the Detroit Tigers hold the 2 wildcard spots, with the Baltimore Orioles guaranteed their spot in the playoffs. The Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers are both trying to fight for it. I think the Tigers are probably going to overtake the Royals. The Twins and the Mariners, especially the Twins, they have been slipping and sliding badly. It's been horrible for them. I don't think there is a chance. Hate to say it, but the D-backs are desperate for a win and will most likely get one tonight against Mason Black. Probably. That's my assumption, because they, again, what's more dangerous than a starving dog? I mean, just looking around at baseball, I still believe that the Arizona Diamondbacks are a good enough team to try and make some noise in the postseason. It's really just about trying to find fire, because it's like you said, they're desperate, and desperation will make people do crazy things. But yeah, looking at other whip around the league, though, the Twins, I don't know what the hell happened. They got injured a lot, but then they just started like desperately like shaving and dying. They're not good enough, man. They just were not good enough for this season. Even though they played fantastically part of this year, they played great. They just aren't good enough right now. The Mariners are still trying to claw it back, but I don't know if they can do it, and I don't know if they're going to be able to take out Kansas City or Detroit. So I don't think that's going to happen. But the National League, the Padres managed to get their wild card spot after pulling off a pretty impressive triple play from Machado to Cronenworth to Peralta at first base. It was a great day for those guys. The New York Mets are currently half a game up in the NL wild card. The Diamondbacks and the Braves, along with the Mets, are all in a tight race trying to hold on to that wild card. Is it a fight? Is it a fight? Oh! Yeah, but yeah, that was a funny moment from Eric and Glenn last night. I really enjoyed that, but yeah. And yes, Fozzie, I still have the Diamondbacks winning the pennant. I believe in those guys. I've seen them do it before, and they're like a shark, in my opinion. The Diamondbacks like a shark. If they can smell blood, they can take it all down. I think they are good enough to try and take. Oh, now I get it. Hi, Eric. Sorry, I didn't know ER was you. My bad. Okay. But yes, Fossey, I do still have the Diamondbacks winning the pennant. I still think they're good enough. They just have to continue doing what they're doing and get back on track, because this was a very bizarre day for them. I'm actually just going to check their record before they played us. They did a good job against the Brewers, the Rockies, and the Rangers and the Astros, but they actually have been on a bit of a limp. They're gimpy right now. They're looking a little. Love the bold prediction, but I can't agree with you. That's fine, man. It's really just my prediction. It's not really. Again, it's based on a couple of things. It's more likely that a team like the Phillies will probably do better, but I think with the record that they have and the experience that they have, the Diamondbacks could do it again or take a shot at it again. It really is just a question of like finding that fire again. But looking at the everything else, the Diamondbacks are looking a little gimpy, actually. They're like kind of limping along and trying to like make it there, but they're a bit hamstrung. That's the problem. They're a little hamstrung and they're trying to like push themselves too hard. And don't get me wrong, I love these guys, but they do have to figure it out. Thoughts on Farhan talking with the beat writers before yesterday's game? I mean, he has been discussing his job security. Let me just pull that article up for myself because I need to actually look a little bit at it. But I mean, when he says something like, oh yeah, it's been a very like disappointing season. Yeah, you spent $200 million and you're not even mildly close to like the other 3 teams that spent less money than you. And, well, actually, except for the Dodgers, obviously. And it's just like, it's annoying. because it's like, how the freaking hell? All right, Rob C, good to see you. But just like, it's so bizarre how a guy can say these things and act all sorry and sad for the team when he has been the contributing factor to all the issues that the Giants have. He's posturing and trying to keep his job. And I do hope that this isn't the thing where the front office and owners are like, oh yeah, Patia and a lot of these other guys are like, oh yeah, we should keep him. But we shouldn't keep him, in my opinion. He is horrifyingly bad at what he does. I don't trust him in the slightest. I think that he makes baseball here worse. And if he is allowed to stay one more offseason and for next season, we are in deep trouble, because if we have another bad season, we won't be able to get into a groove where we can build a better team, because Farhan will be leaving behind a bunch of bad contracts possibly, or even worse, hamstringing the owners to really bad salary cap, or not salary cap, but really bad luxury tax, and leaving the new GM with a bunch of pieces to a puzzle that don't even fit together. But yeah, he has to go. Bottom line, he has to go. If he doesn't go, then we're in trouble. Fozzie says, they had a hell of a year last in the playoffs, but the National League looks stacked. Exactly. I think the Padres are a really good team. Hope talks about this. A lot of the other guys talk about this. They are really well built for the postseason. You got Cease, you got King, you got guys like Musgrove, obviously. You have, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Perez. I think Perez is another good one. And along with this veteran like Darvish, who has had his bad moments in the postseason, but I think he can figure it out. It really is just like, I'm going to say this because I've said it before. If they don't win it this year, then it's going to feel to them like, could we have done something differently? Because they are a good team. The problem is, and they do have a good amount of experience with Machado, Cronenworth, with Ha-Seong Kim, with like all these other guys. They have good experience around the clubhouse. They have good experience in the ranks. They've got good players, and they've got a great pitching staff and a great bullpen. The problem is, I'm wondering if they run into like the Phillies again, or they run into another team that's really tough, are they going to be able to take it on and win? Because I certainly think that they're good enough to take a shot at this damn thing. But so the way it's slated right now, they face the Mets. Sorry, let me just make sure that this is right, because I really do have to make sure, because it's everything shipping around. Yeah, right now they face the Mets and then the Dodgers, and then whoever they meet in the ALCS. So it is stacked, because we have talked about this over on Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn and everybody else. If you have momentum going into the postseason, it's better for you, because when you get into the postseason and you're feeling fire, then you can go. Last year wasn't that, in my opinion. Last year wasn't that, because both teams limped into the playoffs. They limped in. The Texas Rangers limped in because they had gotten beat for the division by the Mariners and the Astros, who just beat each other up. And then with the Diamondbacks, they were also limping in a little bit. I'm going with the Padres. Last triple play is exactly the kind of magic that team needs to make it all the way. The Giants had magic moments like this throughout the championship runs. I agree. They just have these moments, in my opinion, the Padres. They just have what it takes. And besides, like, if they face the Dodgers, I like their chances. Because the Dodgers are injured to hell. Their pitching staff is not ready. They have only one guy on that starting pitching staff that is experienced in postseason play. And that's Jack Flaherty. Yamamoto's never pitched in the postseason. Neither has Landon Knack. Other than that, they're stringing together a starting rotation with shoestring and bubblegum. I mean, they've got nothing to do with that, because Glasnow and also Walker Buehler has looked really bad this season. I'm just keeping it real. He looked really bad this season. He's not played well. And then you look at Kershaw Kershaw, it's probably better that you don't have him in the first place. And then Glasnow and a bunch of other good pitchers. You think, well, the Padres are fully healthy in the pitching staff. And if they keep it up, I don't see a reason why they can't beat them. Agreed, Fossey. The Padres are in a good spot right now. The only weakness is their closer. Suarez has been coughing it up lately. Can't be doing that in the playoffs. That is the problem with Suarez. I've watched him and I've gotten like really bad vibes. He's had good days, Suarez. It's just like you feel like, okay, the thing is with a closer, in my opinion, when you're talking about how good a closer has to be, you have to have like 19 good days and then one bad day, in my opinion, or like 15 good days and one bad day, because like you can't afford to have bad days as a closer in save situations. So you can have that one bad day where it's like, oh yeah, you got beat. It's fine. You know, closers get beat all the time. Mariano Rivera had plenty of blown saves. But when you look at how he's been playing as of late, it's like, and when you look at those things, when you look at all those factors, you say to yourself, he's been, as of late, sorry, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts on this. When you look at how he's been playing, like, it's kind of like, oh, he has one good day and then one bad day. It's like alternating between, oh, he has a good day, then a bad day, or have like 2 good days and then like another bad day. And then, so like, you can't have a closer that's like that, especially, as you said, in the playoffs. If you have that in the playoffs, there will be issues. Because again, it's okay to be a closer that has bad days, but you can't have bad days often. Like, it has to be, again, like every like 19 days or every like 19 games, every single save situation you're in, like there's only one save you blow or like mess up, because it's so difficult like to be a closer like that, to be able to be that cold-blooded and that ready at that right time to be like, oh yeah, I can take this thing on. But yeah, Suarez has been the biggest issue for them. Everything else is practically perfect. I would wonder if Schilt might be radical. I don't know, but Schilt's a bit of a conservative manager if I think about that. He comes from the Cardinals. He's not really a guy who's going to be too aggressive with how he moves people. But I think it's possible, like, oh yeah, he might like do something a bit more radical. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to push him to like, sorry, that he might be pushed to like a different role, or he might put somebody else into close. But yeah, it's certainly got the postseason for that reason has a lot of intrigue. By the way, guys, later tonight, Game Night Live will be coming up at 5 o'clock in around an hour after I'm done, but it's going to be interesting. We all know how firsthand how important closers are. Championship teams had dominant closers compared to what we saw from the Giants closers this year. It's night and day. Exactly. Like every single team that I've watched has a fantastic closer for the playoffs. Listen, Edwin Diaz has had his ups and downs for the Mets, but he's mostly been good this year. He's had some injuries, but he's been mostly good. You look at, for example, another guy might be, I don't know. Let's think about like the Diamondbacks. They have Justin Martinez, who throws nothing but fuego. That guy's really good. The Dodgers, it's Trinan. Sometimes they kind of like committee that closer, but it's interesting. But I think they have some good players. Over in Philly, they have Alvarado, who plays pretty well. Thankfully, they got rid of the meatball chef, Craig Kimbrell, who kind of cost them versus the Diamondbacks. And then you look at the American League. I don't know who the Orioles closer is. I've heard he's been a little sporadic. I don't know his name, though. And then for the Yankees, they also have a slightly sporadic closer, but they're good. Let me just check the teams. Who else are we looking at for like closers? For the Houston Astros, they have a dominant guy in Josh Hader. The Detroit Lions. What am I talking about? This isn't football. Detroit Tigers have a great back end of their bullpen, and along with Cleveland and Kansas City, they have good back end guys. It really is just about like trying to find that one guy who they can trust. All right, Rob C. I'll see you later. It's good having you on the show. But yeah, it is true, Fozzie, that you need to have that one guy who you can totally trust. Like without a shadow of a doubt, you're like, I can trust him to like take care of business for me. He's gonna be able to shut down like the middle of the lineup or like the top half of the lineup and be completely in control. It's really just about like controlling everything. Because if things go wrong, because things can go wrong in the playoffs. Again, I say this all the time. It's chaos land in the playoffs because of how it's organized and how crazy moments can be in the playoffs. You have to have the ability to keep your head on straight, and that's what makes a great closer. But yeah, let's get some more whip around the league. The Atlanta Braves are hanging by a thread right now. They're doing very well as of late. I'm wondering how their game is going to go later versus the Mets, but it's going to be super close. Oh, that guy actually got postponed. Okay, it's going to be on September 30th when they make up that. And that might decide for the entire postseason, actually. And right now, guess who's creeping up on the Dodgers for the NL West? Who else but the San Diego Padres, who are only 2 games back? I said this personally. I said, yo, listen. I said this to Glenn on Giant Sports Talk Live. If the Padres can have a lot of good games versus the Dodgers, and if the Dodgers have like one bad game down the stretch, even with a tie break, if they stay tied, then the Padres really, really could do it. It's just about like they need to win these next 2 games, I think, in order to like tie the Dodgers. And then if they tie the Dodgers, all they have to do is win out the rest of the season. And if they can do that, then they win the NL West. And that would be super impressive because I do not want to see the Dodgers win a single damn thing because all they do, this is what they do. They always celebrate after their whatchamacallit. They always celebrate after their like division champions. Like you should not be celebrating after your division championships, man. You should not, especially after you haven't won a damn thing, in my opinion. I mean, the Yankees did, but that's different because they've actually won something. And for the first time, I get it too, and the second time, but after you've won nothing, like why the heck are you celebrating, man? This is something you're supposed to do. This is expected of you. So whatever. But the Padres are like chasing them down, and they're making it look a little scary. But yeah, other than that, the teams that are still hanging on in the wild card race are the Braves, the Mets, Mariners, along with the Diamondbacks, Minnesota Twins, Detroit Tigers, Kansas City Royals, Boston Red Sox, and Tampa Bay Rays somehow. But let's see how this goes, man. It's going to be a fun last week of the season. I can't wait to see what it's going to be because when the playoffs are set, it's going to be something else. I really can't wait for the NL wild card to start too. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be on Tuesday in October. It's going to be fun to watch Houston go. It's going to be fun to watch a lot of other teams go. It's going to be so damn fun because I just can't wait. I really can't wait because the chaos is going to ensue and it's going to be awesome. But yeah, I am still a believer though. Fozzie says, act like you've been there before. We don't hang a division title bangers. We hang championship banners here. Exactly. Like this is because it's quite literally that you have been there before. This isn't abnormal for the Dodgers. They win the division almost every single year purely because they outspend us, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres. So yeah, okay, you won the division, big whoop. Doesn't mean anything anymore to you because at the end of the day, you haven't won anything. Yeah. The Dodgers, they don't get it, man. They really don't get championships. They don't get championships. They don't understand what it's like to win. And I think that's part of the reason why they lose because they don't actually have any team culture other than we're the Dodgers. We should be able to win. It's a very arrogant culture. Listen, with the Yankees, for example, that culture is more justified because they've won more recently than the Dodgers. but they are still, the Yankees are sort of similar. They've got annoying fans who just say a bunch of crazy BS and act like they're still good when they're not. The Dodgers are a good team, but no one's going to act like they're actually a great team. I mean, what's more impressive, really? Like, no, like seriously though, like no one is going to care about the 2020 World Series ever again. We're going to think about it as just that year of COVID, and we're going to be like, okay, you played 60 games, you didn't play anybody, you played a bunch of teams that lost, who are losing records and make it to the playoffs. Are you really a good team for beating inferior competition and playing in a different way than it's usually been in baseball? Not really. And the minute they go back to normal, they start losing again. So yeah, congratulations on winning a division trophy. Big whoop. It's not special, man. Winning a division is not special for you guys. This is what's expected of you. If we do it, if the Giants did it, like next year, that would be special because we haven't won it in a while. If the Padres did it this year, it would be special because they haven't won it in a long time. Diamondbacks, it's the same thing. It's just it's everyone. It's such a comedy show that they have because they think that they're really that good, but they're not. They are the Dallas Cowboys of the MLB. They haven't won in forever, and they still have the arrogance to say that they're good enough. The Dodgers, I mean, yeah, okay, to be fair, the Houston championship you got cheated out of, but the Yankees got cheated out of it too. And that's just, in my opinion, how it is. It's going to stay that way. They got beat up by Boston. That was not even close. The ones against Boston weren't even close. The Nationals in the NLDS, that was a team that was dead in the water months before. They came back against you, and Anthony Rendon and Juan Soto owned Clayton Kershaw. I don't want to hear a thing from Dodgers fans about the Giants. I really don't. I hear Dodgers fans say, oh, we're Big Brother. No, you're not, man. We're Big Brother. We're the snobby Big Brother to the north that mocks you from above. Because in reality, no one cares about you. Like, yeah, you have crazy fans in Los Angeles that literally kill people because they hate you. But in reality, no one is really going to respect you because you're just like the city you are a part of. You're fake. You're plastic. You try to be popular, but you're not really because you don't have the heritage. No one cares about no one cares about a 2020 World Series ring where everything was different. No one cares about that at all. It's just nobody. Nobody will, and no one will respect you for it. Everyone overlooks the Giants, but we have had a better 21st century than the Dodgers. We have won more than them. I mean, the only team that has won more World Series than us in this century is the Boston Red Sox. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? I mean, yeah, whatever. It's the Dodgers. They're going to say every year that they're going to win a World Series. And this isn't even just the fans. This is the players who think that they're good enough to win a World Series, even though they've underachieved so massively. They're all going to be so hyped. They're going to be saying a bunch of BS about how great they are. And then they're going to get smacked in the mouth. I guarantee. I am willing to take bets on this. Yeah. The 2002, I didn't even know they won the 2002 pennant. They won the 2002 pennant? Give me a second. Oh, yeah, that was us. My bad. Oh, sorry, that was us. My bad at Grand Admiral. I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, my bad. Thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah, point being, it's just such an arrogant mentality that they have, and we're better than them. Like, we're not better now, obviously, but historically over the last 24 years, we have been more successful. What have they done since 1988? Nothing. Just that's all, man. That's all for me. I mean, yeah, they can talk trash about how we are now. The thing is, the Dodgers, they can talk trash about how we are now. That's not unfair. Any of the issues that they point to, they're like, that, I would say, yeah, that's accurate. The problem is they can't talk about how bad we are without examining how bad they have been. Because it's not like they've been bad in the sense that they're a bad team. They're just underachievers. I mean, if I was a fan of that team and they underachieved that badly, I wouldn't be a fan of that team. The Dodgers are just massive freaking chokers. Grand Admiral Shannon says, no need to stress about the Dodgers. They don't have rings. The MVP, they don't have the rings. The MVP is the number of Hall of Famers. Head-to-head record overall says the Giants. That total wins that the Giants do. That's fair. You know what? Yeah. I was going to try and stop stressing about this, but my bad, man. I'm just trying to think. But you know what? Let's stop talking about that. Let's get some whip around the league. Let's talk about some more baseball that's going on around the league, because I am super interested with how this is going to go. Because right now I'm going to put the bracket up on the screen. Actually, Fozzie says, don't you mean take you off topic? Don't mean to take you off topic. I'm curious what you think what happens with Yaz and Wade next year. Okay. Yaz, it depends on whether or not Juan Soto is going to stay. If Juan Soto comes here. Because if Soto comes here, then he will obviously be leaving in some capacity. But with Lamont Wade Jr., I think that him and Wilmer Flores are probably going to split platoon duties at first base because of Bryce Eldridge's development. We don't want to sign a big free agent for first base and then block him. I think it's possible. There's certainly some possibility there. It's just about really it's about figuring it out. Grand Admiral Shanahan says, I'm thankful that even with the far too long rebuild that Farhan has failed, at the Diamondbacks has failed, at the Diamondbacks and Nats and Padres, they have done our bidding by exposing the Dodgers. Yeah, I'm thankful for that too. Yeah, it is great to know that the Dodgers are still suffering, and in their fans, their whiny fans are still complaining about all of it. It's just fun because they have been beaten constantly by far better teams, and they act all high and mighty and everything else. But it is good to thankfully see them just constantly eating it, even though they act all arrogant about how good they are. But yeah. But anyway, to get to the postseason picture, I'm thinking about how I wanted to do this. I was thinking I'd make a bracket for myself and think about who's going to win. Yeah. But yeah, Grand Admiral Shanahan says the age of Ramos, Soto, Eldridge is on the horizon. Exactly. Thankfully, there's a future. The thing is, if we didn't have Ramos or Eldridge or any of those guys, I would be worried so much. I'd be even if Farhan is gone, we don't have the future in place. We don't have anything ready. Thankfully, though, we do have it ready. There's certainly some measure of oh yeah, Eldridge is going to be here. Ramos is going to be here. Soto might be here. We're going to have guys like Fitzgerald. We're going to have other people who were you know what? Bailey and other pitchers like Logan Webb. We have a core and building blocks for what the future can be. Thankfully, because of that, I have more hope. And as you said, it's the age. It's a new age that's on the horizon. I'm hoping that it can be a better one than the one that we've had now. But again, that's yet to be seen. But anyway, to get back to the bracket, I was thinking about who would be winning. I'm thinking for between Detroit and Houston. I think Houston's going to win that purely because they're experienced and they know what they're doing. Between Kansas City and the Orioles, I think Kansas City is really banged up. Their pitching has looked a little shaky, especially without Vinny Pasquantino as their RBI guy. It's been very difficult for them to knock in runs because I showed that stat earlier in the season. The thing that made Kansas City so good this year, they are first in runners in scoring position. They have an 800 OPS overall for runners in scoring position. That's pretty impressive. The problem is a lot of that has to do with Vinny Pasquantino being really damn good. And I think because of that, the Orioles are going to win that series, I think. Then we look at the series between Milwaukee and the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think with what happened last year and how good I know the Diamondbacks can be, I think the Diamondbacks will win that series. And then I think comes the most difficult wild card one, which is Farhan hasn't failed, bro. What the heck? Arson Judge. Farhan has failed because we've only had 1 year of playoff success. We've had pretty much every other year has been 500 or below. We've had no success as a team. We've only had one playoff appearance where we got bounced immediately. Yeah, no, Farhan Zaidi is a failure. He's a failure as a leader, most of all, and he's a failure as a baseball man. I don't trust him to do any of that because I think that he's shown clearly, especially with this year at the trade deadline and other instances, he's not been good enough as a baseball guy. I think if he had made some better decisions at the trade deadline, he might be able to keep his job, but he's not going to keep his job, I think, because looking at how he's failed in that regard, he's not good enough to stay because he's made so many mistakes, and you can't trust him. But anyway, to get back to the wild card round, between the Mets and the Padres, that's close. It might actually go 3 games. But I bet that one of those teams is going to have like 2 games where they play super well. Hold on. Let me just turn on a light. All right, there we go. But looking at those 2 teams, the Mets are hot. The Padres are great, obviously, as we have discussed with Eric, Fozzie, and all these other guys. I think that all things considered, just on the pitching alone, I think the Padres will win this round. I think. I don't know this because, again, the Mets, we talk about this all the time on Giant Sports Talk Live or here at Carter's Corner. Momentum, if it shifts your way, you really can do it all. It really is just about are they going to be able to keep that up? I think they can, the Mets, but it's going to have to be a really, really good series. And besides, the Padres have a little more experience in this department. So I'll say the Padres. Then we'd be looking at Houston versus Cleveland, Yankees versus Orioles, Phillies versus Diamondbacks, and Padres versus Dodgers. So the Padres versus the Dodgers, that's going to be really good. That's really good. That's 2 good. That's 1 really good team dealing with it against the Dodgers. I think that the Padres are going to win purely because their pitching staff is more healthy and they seem more ready for the postseason. And they just played the Dodgers recently, so they're going to know how to play against them like relatively recently. Then I think I'll take the Padres going to the NLCS. Then between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks, again, the Diamondbacks are my pick. I just have a bad feeling about the Phillies. Let me just get the information. Let me just get the runners and scoring position stats because I think this is important to emphasize. Oh, this is okay. So the runners and scoring position is actually different now. Let me just check. Okay, so Philly has the 12th best runners and scoring position, and the best team with runners and scoring position. Again, okay, sorry. To be clear, earlier I said Kansas City was the best. That is outdated, by the way, so my bad if you guys take that. So take that with a grain of salt. And I'm actually going to tell you the real ones now. Arizona is the best team with runners in scoring position with an 849 OPS. They're really good at hitting with runners in scoring position. And the Phillies are not. And that's what killed them last year. And I think all of those things considered, I think the Diamondbacks can do it. I don't think they're going to knock off like Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. or even like one of their better players like Dominguez. But I do think that they are going to be really tough for the Phillies to beat but then again, the Phillies are out for blood after last year. So we'll have to see. But then it'll be the Diamondbacks and the Padres in the NLCS. But let's talk about the ALCS because I think this is important. Between Houston and Cleveland, again, Houston has the experience. Cleveland is a really good team, but they're just cursed. I'm not saying that's the reason why they'll lose, but again, like looking at this team, let me just look at the stats. Houston and CLE. Houston and Cleveland are actually pretty close together with runners in scoring positions, so it could be close. But I do think Houston's going to win purely because they're just the most experienced and they understand how to take these opportunities on. And then the division series between the Yankees and the Orioles. I think right now the Orioles are really injured. They have a lot of guys who are injured. They have issues with the back end of their bullpen. They're not great at closing. Listen, the Yankees have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, and they've been playing fantastically. Obviously, that doesn't make a team, and there are some issues, but I do think, all things considered, I think that the Yankees will win. I think. And then in the ALCS and the NLCS, it'll be the Yankees versus the Astros and the Padres versus the Diamondbacks. I think, those things considered, I mean, the Yankees are just owned by the Astros. The Astros beat them all the time, and it's not even funny if I'm being honest. And so I think the Astros will obviously win and go on to the World Series. Between the Diamondbacks and the Padres, again, that's going to be so close. It's tiny close. So the Padres are 2 games back. Man, I wish the Dodgers would have to play the Mets. That would be glorious. That would be so hilarious. I will say it will just be so funny to see that happen because I don't know if the Dodgers have even played a wild card in so long. I don't think they have played actually since 2021, and this isn't with the new wild card. Yeah, there you go. It's going to be – if the Dodgers do play the Mets in the wild card, that's going to be really close, honestly. I actually don't even think it's going to be close because the Mets, again, they have momentum. The Dodgers are limping into the postseason. But yeah, $1 billion offseason to be a wild card team would be amazing. Yes. Just the mockery that the baseball world can inflict on the Dodgers and us dancing on their graves. It would be fun, admittedly. Again, it would be admittedly fun to just dance on the Dodgers' grave and just troll them and talk trash about how, you did this, you did that. Like, you signed Yamamoto, you signed Judge, you signed Glasnow. Sorry, not Judge. You signed Yamamoto, you signed Shohei, you signed Tyler Glasnow, you signed Teoscar Hernandez. You signed all these great players, and you don't win, man. It's surprising. You do what the Yankees did, but worse. So, I don't know. But it would be funny. It would be so hilarious. I want to see that happen so badly because, again, the comedy would be glorious. But I don't know. I do think the Padres could win, though. I do think if they win these next 2 games and they win out the rest of the season, yeah, they win the division and they take on and they wait for the Dodgers in the NLDS. But we'll have to see, obviously. But I do think the Padres have a chance there. But again, I think the Diamondbacks are going to win the NLCS versus the Padres because, again, the Padres are just unbelievable. The path to be for Soto to be a giant. O's eliminate the Yankees in the ALDS, and fans call for Cashman Boone's head, and Judge chokes again, so Soto comes to hit splash hits instead. That is the biggest thing. in my opinion. I think a lot of people realize how big of a mess the Yankees are in a lot of ways, because the Yankees, for all their money, they don't really have a great roster. They have good players like Judge, like Soto, like Garrett Cole, like a couple other guys, like Jazz Chisholm. He's a good player. I think people don't understand that Jazz is actually pretty good. He's just he got overrated for a little bit there. But Volpe's good. There's a couple other guys. But the biggest problem, in my opinion, Fozzie, if the Diamondbacks win, I'll never doubt you, Dan. Thank you. But to get back to Grand Admiral, considering all those things, though, I think you are right in a lot of ways. Cashman and Boone will be under heavy scrutiny if they do lose in the ALCS to the Astros, especially. I mean, that would be bad. If Judge chokes, that'll also be bad. But I think Soto and Boris realize we're not really in the best situation on the Yankees, because it's basically without Soto or Judge, the Yankees are pretty much nothing. I don't think the Yankees are that good without Soto or Judge. I mean, you take them out of that lineup, where's the main power coming from? Where's the offense coming from? Not really anywhere. I mean, so yeah, I think Soto is going to think, okay, listen, like, if I am in this situation where we aren't getting enough good players to help support me and Judge, maybe I should go elsewhere. And again, as you said, Grand Admiral, on the horizon of this team, Eldridge, Ramos, and other guys like that, people see that and they're like, wow, this is possible. Things can work out. And Soto might think, okay, they're offering me a lot of money. Why not? Sorry, I'm going to just stop screen sharing because I want to bring my face up a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely possible. Because another thing I wanted to mention was Hal Steinbrenner is not George Steinbrenner. Hal Steinbrenner suffers from the same problems as as a lot of great sons of great sports executives and great sports owners. He's about the bottom line. And he did say last offseason, as they did the whole Soto thing, like, I'm not sure I can continue to spend this money on players because it's so expensive. He doesn't think they have to spend that much money. So how are you going to cut payroll and keep Juan Soto? It doesn't make much sense. So that eliminates the Yankees. And there's only two other teams that are possible. That's us and the Mets. And it's certainly possible, especially considering the splash hits thing. And again, he has a really good stats here at Oracle Park. But to continue with your question, for what you're saying, so Ramos and Chapman with 20 home run potential next season and Lee's contract, full season of Fitz. The lineup would actually be so fun around Soto. I agree. I mean, Lee first, Fitz second. You have Ramos at like the third spot. You have Soto with a cleanup bat because he'll be able to knock runs in. Then Matty Ice, Matt Chapman in like fifth or something like that. And then to add to the rest of your thing, Eldridge batting sixth or seventh as a rookie would be perfectly fine. I mean, look at what they're doing with Jackson Merrill down in San Diego. They're not putting him up in like the fourth spot or the first spot. They're having him bat like sixth and seventh or even eighth. They're not really having him like do too much, even though he's having a really good season. They would be completely justified in like pushing him up to like, I don't know, like the fourth spot or the fifth spot. You could put him in second or lead off if you wanted to, but they don't have to do that because that would be the situation we would have because, as you said, Ramos, Chapman, Lee, Fitz, and Soto all give Eldridge plenty of protection. It's like if you strike out, it's fine because you have Soto or something like that, or you have somebody else, or the other guys in the front of the lineup get on base for you and you knock them in. So yeah, the potential with Soto in this lineup is very interesting, but I think it's all going to come down to, as you said, Cashman, Boone, and all the issues that the Yankees have, how they're really undercooked and not ready for a chance. I mean, as I said before, Steinbrenner has said, I don't want to spend as much money on the Yankees as I used to. I'm going to cut payroll. And as I said, how are you going to subtract payroll but pay like one of the best stars in baseball? That doesn't seem very feasible. Yeah, you could try to do that, but it's not going to happen, I don't think. Cutting payroll in that situation, and again, Yankees fans are going to riot about that. If that happens, then they will be in massive trouble. Because again, just looking around at that organization, especially with like Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner, you think, yeah, it's not a stable organization. And Soto and Boris are going to realize, like, I don't have a lot of great teammates other than Aaron Judge. So I might as well split, go to a different place that's more reliable for me. And as you said, Ramos, Chapman, Lee, Fitz, there's potential to like solidify a core around Juan Soto as a more of a cleanup hitter. But yeah, as I don't know where we would actually put him. Second spot is good. He can basically play spots like 1 through 4. Sorry, like 2 through 4 seamlessly, and maybe even 5. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how this offseason goes. It's really just about like figuring out how we're going to try and swing this. Because if the Yankees are out because of their payroll cuts, we are going to have to try and swing a deal that's better than the Mets. And again, we all know, we did see that whole Forbes article, though, about how like they're really deep in the red and how the Mets have spent a lot of money over the past few years, and they're deep under the luxury tax. They're in the red zone. While we have spent money and we're in the luxury tax zone, but next year, because contracts are different, Michael Conforto's contract isn't going to be a problem. Yaz and a couple other players' contracts are going to be a problem next year. There's opportunity for us to try and swing a massive deal with Juan Soto. And however I say this again and again, whatever he wants, it's probably not that much, in my opinion, because he is probably the most worth it player when it comes to trying to swing a deal. I mean, again, in my opinion, it's going to have to be upwards of like $650 million in order to try and get him. And it's going to have to be like a good deal, like 10 to 12 years, $650 million. It's going to have to be like a good deal. But so I have like another 2 minutes. I'm going to be going to do something for college in a minute. So I'm going to be out of here soon. Does anybody have anything else? Because I don't want to leave anything unaddressed before I go. But yeah, Grand Admiral, I do appreciate the takes, man. It's really helpful because these are definitely good ideas, because Eldridge batting 6th or 7th isn't bad. It's perfectly fine, in my opinion. It's just like, okay, he's batting 6th or 7th. It's not like he's a bad player. He's a good player. He's just a young man who's got to figure it out at the big league level. And when you're batting 6th or 7th with the protection of guys like Soto, like Ramos, like Chapman, like Fitz, and like Jung-Hoo Lee, you have a better mindset as a rookie. Like, okay, I don't have to be the man yet. I don't have to be a superstar yet. I can be a good player for this team. I can do what Jackson Merrill did. And that's all cool, man. And I really, again, next year, again, it all depends on getting Juan Soto. Because if we get Juan Soto this offseason, we're contending for the division next year. But if we don't, and we just do what we've done for a little bit, even if Farhan isn't here and we're looking more at a year like, oh yeah, let's just see what we got and maybe we can figure something out. It's more of a situation where it's like we're playing with house money. Whatever happens next is fine. But we will see how next year goes. We'll see how this offseason goes. Hey, I've got like a minute left. It's been good seeing y'all, guys. Thank you for coming around. Thank you for watching me, Eric, and Glenn. Later at 5 o'clock, we will have Game Night Live coming up. It'll be a fun one. If you guys want to go over there and watch that, that's going to be good. So have fun with that. Have fun with watching the game tonight with Mason Black going on the mound versus Zach Gallen. Let's hope the guys can try and pull off another one and maybe keep playing spoiler. But yeah, thank you, Grand Admiral. I appreciate it. But have a good night, y'all. It's really good seeing you guys. Keep coming around. I appreciate you guys just coming here and talking about everything, talking about the game, having some fun, and just like giving your takes about the whole situation, about the Giants, about the Niners, about everything else. It depends on how the show is, but I'll talk about whatever you guys want. But it's It's good working with you guys. It's good listening to you guys talk about the game. It's good just being here with y'all. But thank you guys. See you later.
You've been watching the Northern California Sports and Entertainment Network, a Northern Lights Entertainment broadcasting station.